Hello.
Rowan.
Hi, Jerry. Hello.
Hi, how are you?
Rowan, it's Andy Breckman. I'm sitting here with Jerry.
We're both here.
Hello, Andy. How are you?
Fine, thanks. Now that I'm talking to you.
We're in a sound studio right now. We're recording the DVD commentary for the movie,
thing.
for the DVD. And so Andy and I are actually so uninteresting that we've decided to call the actors and talk to them and put it on the DVD. So we're actually recording this conversation.
Right,
and,
fine.
Right, fine, good.
Yeah, right, fine. As your heart sinks.
Are you still there? Hello, Rowan.
It's a last ditch effort to make the DVD more interesting.
Oh, blimey, really.
And we've actually called a number of the cast, and we've caught them all off guard. Many of them on cell phones and such, and catching them at their worst. But we're giving you fair notice.
Well, you catch me because of the time lag, of course. Just before I go to bed. So
perfect.
That's perfect.
That means you're groggy and you'll reveal more secrets and dirty gossip.
Yeah. As you can tell, I'm revealing as much as I possibly can to you.
No.
So here's the question.
So
So here's the question that everybody asks about you, Rowan, is that, or actually the actors, if we talk to them too, have all commented that you're more than any other actor. I think it's certainly in this movie, but probably that they've worked with. You're the most different on and off screen.
Yes. Yes. Well, I think that's a highly desirable state, really, particularly if you're going to play, such maniacs on screen. I think it would be highly undesirable if you didn't have a very contrasting private and home life.
I'm sure your wife and kids agree with that.
And private existence, yes, exactly. And I think everyone I know is in agreement with that. Yes, I don't know why that is really. Whether I suppose I genuinely feel uncomfortable not being myself. I hope I can be myself in the normal cut and thrust of life. But I hate playing myself. I can't really sort of excuse the fact that I'm pretending to be doing something other than what I should be, unless I'm also pretending to be someone very different from who I am. I have to sort of have, I have to be really acting. I really divorced from my normal existence in order to be able to act and be funny at all. I've always found this. At the same time, I've played, I suppose, a number of characters who are a lot less different from me than Enrico Pollini is, for example. The Blackadder character at least seems to talk in a relatively normal way.
Now, where did the Enrico Pollini character come from? Is it based on someone
I don't know. Of course, those who've been most critical of the film think that he's basically just Mr. Bean with a rather silly Italian accent stamped on the top, which is not wholly untrue. But I suppose I don't know. I think I'm hoping that if people could expunge Mr. Bean from their minds and pretend that they'd never ever seen me play that part, and then they just watched Enrico Pollini for what he is, I hope that there is a reasonably well sketched and rounded character there, even if he's a bit mad and a bit extreme. That I hope that there's a level of credibility, which indeed is what I've always hoped, for Mr. Bean or any of these other, characters who've been rather strange.
No, I think that's your success. Actually, is that there's, as I watch you both in Pollini and Mr. Bean, there is no part of you that is saying, "Oh, look at how funny Rowan Atkinson can be." You're completely immersed in your character, like any dramatic actor in a perfectly serious, heavy drama would be if you're playing a killer or anything else. And therefore, as outrageous as it is, it becomes believable.
I mean, the other odd thing actually about the kind of people whom I've often ended up playing is not only how sort of odd or different they are from me, but how usually rather unpleasant they are, how sort of mean-spirited or really sometimes downright hateful they are. And actually, the good thing about Pollini is I think he's one of the nicest people that I've ever played. I think he's a genuinely, well-meaning, good-hearted bloke.
He's the only one of all the racers who doesn't care about the money. He's completely guileless.
Yes, he's the only one who's just in it for a bit of fun. And all the other members of the cast generally, were they well? morning.
Yeah, Venezuela, and everybody says hello.
All right, great.
We caught Cuba Gooding going into the shower naked, and we caught Vince doing his laundry.
Well, I'm sorry. What am I doing here?
You tell us.
That's right.
I'm
What are
sitting
you
at
doing?
a very plain desk with my monthly quota of car magazines in front of me, which I'm looking forward to reading.
Do you have a race coming up? What's on your schedule as far as racing?
I did a race. No, I did a race 2 weeks ago at a place called Goodwood on the south coast, which was in which I raced an old car. It was an historic race meeting. I raced an old Jaguar, a Jaguar Mark 7, which is a gigantic saloon car, huge sort of 2-ton, 4-door saloon car, which, believe it or not, I used to race in the early 50s. And this was the only one that has survived of the racing cars of that era and of Jaguars. So I raced it.
So you not only play a crazed racer in the movies, you actually are one in real life.
I am a crazed racer. Well, I hope I'm not crazed. I just try and, I think as Dirty Harry, I think, once said, a man's got to know his limitations, and it's terribly important when motor racing to know your limitations.
Well, as friends and fans, we're urging you to buckle up all the time and use your blinker.
No,
and drive safely.
We do. Yeah. I do. I'm very...
Did you, when we were in Vegas, did you gamble at all? Is that something?
Yeah, I'm incapable of gambling. I cannot do it, and I made a point of staying in the only hotel in Las Vegas which does not have any gambling machines or casino, or there is no evidence in the hotel that you are in Las Vegas. So it's a fantastic little oasis in the madness of Vegas, and I was pleased to be there actually. But I loved Vegas actually. I mean, as a place to leave my little sanctuary and to go out into the madness for a couple of hours and then come back was deeply pleasurable. I bought a lot of trousers in Vegas for some reason. There are a lot of shops there.
Yes, there's a lot of...
but
they'll take your money any way they can in Vegas,
right.
but there's a huge amount of shopping.
But I didn't think clothes shopping was going to be something that I remembered Las Vegas for. So clearly, I'm just not a gambling person, actually. I prefer the odds to be stacked so relentlessly in favor of me, then I can.
Because when you buy,
gamble, but because in theory, if you're not a gambler, then show business is probably not the best industry you can work in.
That's
and yet
right.
I do. So.
Well, we should let the gentleman
We'll
go.
let you go. This has been great. Thanks, Rowan.
Okay, thanks for ringing.
Bye.
Bye-bye.